down to 940,000. The Maui market definitely slowed down the most of all the markets. Looking at closed sales, it's been really slow, really flat, and it continued to decline. It's kind of been flat, just hovering between 100 and 120 sales for the last few months. Hey, what's happening, friends? Time for the monthly market update for January 2025. And as always, we're going to jump right into the data and look at the market data for every single island across the state. And we're going to start over at the Big Island. So top line numbers, we have 2,281 active listings. This is kind of holding steady. It's been creeping up a little bit over the last few months, but no huge increases there with the number of active listings. All right, looking at the year-to-date numbers, comparing last year to this year in the residential market, if we look at the number of sales, there's actually more sales this year, 168 homes versus 158 in the previous year to date. And then median price up again to $595 versus $499 a year ago. So definitely market is stronger this year than it was last year. Median price shows that, and the number of homes sold. And on the condo side, same thing, right? Currently 38 year to date. The previous year it was 32, and then the median price is $689, and it was $608 in the previous year to date. So looking stronger this year in terms of January than we saw in 2024. And going over to the island of Kauai, we'll take a look at those same two numbers on the island of Kauai. Overall summary on the island of Kauai, we have 460 active listings. Again, moving up slowly, but no huge increases there. And current median price is $999,000. Looking at the year-to-date numbers so far, comparing this year to last year on the residential side of the market, a little bit less. So again, Kauai, not a ton of activity, but 29 sales and versus 30 sales. So almost the exact same year to date. And on Kauai, we are seeing a little bit of a lower median price. So 1.3 million versus 1.4 million in the current year versus last year. And then moving over to the island of Maui, we're gonna look at 3 data points here. The first one is the median sales price. And as you can see, it looks like it's really declining, even though the scale doesn't really represent that, right? But if we look at last year in January, it was $1,005,000. It's down to $940,000 as the median price on Maui. So the Maui market definitely slowed down the most of all the markets. And looking at homes for sale, inventory continues to rise. So we're up to 1,197, almost 1,200 homes for sale. There were only 628 a year ago. So almost double the number of properties on the market today than there was a year ago. And then looking at closed sales, it's been really slow, really flat. Only 313 closed sales in January of this year versus last year there was 150 in January, and you saw that number got up to 180 in April of last year, and it continued to decline. It's kind of been flat, just hovering between 100 and 120 sales for the last few months. So market on Maui is definitely slower than all of the other islands that we're looking at. And then looking at Oahu, so starting with the sales price, the median sales price, we can see median sales price on Oahu for residential homes is $749. This is residential and condo, versus a year ago it was $710. So median price is higher this year than it was last year. Number of homes for sale it rose at the middle of last year, and it's kind of been flat ever since. So a year ago there was 2,296 properties for sale, and there is 3,051 now. So an increase year over year, pretty significant. But if you look kind of over the last 6 months, it's kind of been hovering around that 3,000 mark. So been pretty consistent for about the last 6 months. And then on closed sales has been slower on Oahu, but if you compare it to last year, to the middle of the year, it was higher. We got into a peak of 772 in May of last year. This past month in January, it was 535. But if we go to January a year ago, it was 497. So stronger this year than it was last year this time, but slower than it was in the middle of the year last year. So market is kind of stable is the short story, and the headline to all of this is there isn't any huge kind of shifts. We're definitely seeing the Maui market be slower than all the rest, but in general, inventory is relatively steady, and the number of homes on the market continue to rise slightly, and that's been pretty consistent across the board on all the islands. So if you have any questions about this, as always, you can always reach out, Dylan@buybigisland.com. There's a link in the description below to my calendar, and you can book a meeting directly with me right inside of there, and we can talk. I always appreciate you guys watching. I'll see you guys next month with Market Report. Aloha.